YouTube, what's going on? It is Friday, May 14th, 2021. And I'm going to make a promise right now. I am not going to make fun of one more person with purple hair. Ever again. At least not till Monday.
Cue the speeder.
And you just said that on camera. This going viral.
Recently from people like Andrea Weisskopf. Stupid people telling you what you're allowed to say and read. That's essentially 2021 summed up in a single sentence. The scariest part is they're telling your kids the exact same thing all day, every day in school. So what effect is that having on your kids, on all of our kids, on the country itself? Well, over time, the effect is unimaginable. For the last year, most parents have put up with this. Either they didn't know it was happening or they felt powerless to stop it from happening. They were afraid to object, to speak up, as lunatics like Andrea Weisskopf hurt their children. But that's changing, finally. Some parents have had enough of this. Watch this mother at this week's Loudoun County School Board meeting.
C.R.T. is not an honest dialogue. It is a tactic that was used by Hitler and the Ku Klux Klan on slavery very many years ago to dumb down my ancestors, so we could not think for ourselves. C.R.T. is racist. It is abusive. It discriminates against one's color. Let me educate you. An honest dialogue does not oppress. An honest dialogue does not implement hatred or injustice. It's to communicate without deceiving people. Today, we don't need your agreement. We want action and a backbone for what we asked for today, to ban C.R.T. I had to come down here today to tell you to your face that we are coming together and we are strong. This will not be the last. Greet and meet, respectfully.
Holy shit.
Oh, yeah. The woman you just saw is called Chantel Cooper, and she deserves an award. Someone please give her an award. Critical race theory is racist, said Chantel Cooper. And
That was Chantel Cooper dropping a bomb on the Loudoun County District School Board. So, tonight, we're going to break down C.R.T, critical race theory. What is it? I don't know. I'd never heard of it till last night, so I had to go look it up. And now I'm going to share it with you. We're going to break it down, talk about it, and see, is this really something that we need necessarily in our schools to teach to our children? And there's probably a good reason why you haven't heard of critical race theory before, if you're anywhere around my age, because they didn't teach this garbage to us when we were in school 20 years ago. This is fairly new. Critical race theory, according to Wikipedia, is loosely unified by two common themes. First, that white supremacy, societal racism, exists and maintains power through the law. And second, that transforming the relationship between law and racial power and also achieving racial emancipation and anti-subordination more broadly are possible. Critics of critical race theory argue that it relies on social constructionism, elevates storytelling over evidence and reason, and rejects the concepts of truth and merit, and opposes liberalism. Now, on the map on the screen, I have two places highlighted. One of them is Appomattox Courthouse National Historical Park, and we're going to get into why that's important. But the second is Loudon County, which is a very white, rich, liberal county outside of Washington, D.C. As you'll notice in this painting, there are two gentlemen sitting down at desks. The man on your left in the gray coat is Robert E. Lee, overall commander of Confederate forces, the Army of Northern Virginia. The man on the right is Ulysses S. Grant, overall commander of the Army of the Potomac for the Northern Union forces. This painting is a representation of Robert E. Lee surrendering to Ulysses S. Grant at Appomattox Courthouse in April of 1865, ending the U.S. Civil War and subsequently ending slavery in the U.S. forever. Okay, so maybe you're asking yourself right now, what does Appomattox Courthouse in Virginia and Robert E. Lee and Ulysses S. Grant and the North winning the Civil War, what does any of this have to do with Loudoun County, Virginia, and C.R.T.? Well, it seems like the people of Loudoun County have forgotten that in 1865, the North won the Civil War. And effectively what happened at that point was slavery was abolished forever, never to be seen again in the history of the United States, over 170 years ago. And we've come a long way. We must have, because 20 years ago when I was going to school in inner city Boston, we didn't have CRT. Nope, never heard of it. We were just taught that we were all the same. We may look a little different and talk a little different, but we were all just kids. I had friends who were black, who were Asian, who were Dominican, who were Puerto Rican, who were Cape Verdean. It didn't really matter. We were all just kids. This next clip is going to tell you everything you need to know about what's going on in our schools in 2021.
Loudoun County used to have famously good schools. People wanted to send their kids to those schools. Now those schools are run by lunatics who hate the country. It happened fast, it always does. Here's video from a county school board meeting just 2 days ago. The first person you're going to see in this video is a middle school teacher called Andrea Weiskopf. Now, as you watch this, keep in mind that Andrea Weiskopf is actually a middle school teacher. She's not a paid actor. We didn't make her up to prove a point. She is entirely real, down to the ostentatiously displayed pronouns in her Twitter bio. Here's Miss Weiskopf explaining how the book To Kill a Mockingbird, a book the rest of us assumed was all about why racism is bad, is in fact itself racist because it causes something called racial trauma due to the fact there are white people in it.
It's funny how they are so afraid of their children seeing another view of sexuality, gender, or religion. If you want to talk about books that are assigned, let's read To Kill a Mockingbird together. If you aren't willing to consider the racial trauma this assigned book causes black children with its white saviorism, then you have no business discussing any books.
Oh, so if you don't consider To Kill a Mockingbird racist, says Andrea Weiskopf, then, quote, you have no business discussing any books. Can you even imagine what this lady's personal life must be like? Miserable does not even begin to describe it. Desperate, hellish. But if she somehow looks familiar, there's a reason for that. You've heard a lot of lectures like this recently from people like Andrea Weiskopf. Stupid people telling you what you're allowed to say and read. That's essentially 2021 summed up in a single sentence. The scariest part is they're telling your kids the exact same thing, all day, every day in school.
And before we call this video a wrap, I just want to say, if someone's having problems breathing with a mask on while they're just speaking, then maybe we need to find some exceptions here going forward, because she was about 2 seconds away from doing a nosedive right into the floor, just simply from a lack of oxygen. I don't have any children, and this is exactly one of the reasons why I decided not to procreate. But if you're a parent out there and you're allowing this shit to go on, and for your child to be fed this poison, shame on you. Do something about it. Get together with other parents, stand up to these clowns, and let them know that you're not going to have your kids be taught this trash in school. Guys, if you enjoyed the content today, please do me a favor. Smash that like button and hit subscribe. It would mean a lot to me. And as always, before I let you go, here's a little taste of what I call diversity. Spread love, people. It's the Boston way. I'm the Massalorian, and I'm out.